Welcome back to Notballtalk. It's your host Dietrich, back at you with another one. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about NCAA March Madness. We're going to be talking about who I think is going to win, matchup wise, and we're going to talk about Naismith Player of the Year. And also, I got a couple feedback from a lot of coaches, college players, and high school players on who they think we can win the March Madness whole tournament. So we're going to start off with is I'm going to start off on the games that's happening today on Thursday night, which UConn, San Diego State, Illinois, Iowa State, UNC, Alabama, Clemson, Arizona. I think that UConn, of course, is going to beat San Diego State. Well, first and foremost, it's March. Anything can happen. Anybody can get upset on any given game. But I do think UConn has the strongest chance to probably win this game. But yeah, I think UConn's probably gonna come out on top. They got a good team, overall team, good coaching staff, and they just won it last year. And a couple of those guys returned this year, and I think they plan on doing the same thing and winning the NCAA championship men's again. Now with Illinois and Iowa State, that's really gonna be a great game, I believe. I really want to see Iowa State and Houston match up. Spoiler alert: one of my teams that I have winning is Houston, but I do believe if Iowa State matches up with them, I think Iowa State can get the best of them again. But a lot of people think Illinois is gonna come out with that one. I think Iowa State is gonna come on top with the W that game. They got a lot of good pieces, a lot of good offense going on. They play well, mesh together well, and a good coaching staff that gets things going. I think they're probably gonna take that game. Now UNC Alabama. Yeah, I think it all depends how RJ Davis comes on and play, and if Armando can keep the energy high, I think that UNC could very well win it. But I'm not surprised if Alabama could take that game. They have a very high offense, and they when they tend to get hot, they tend to it is real hard to slow them down. And I don't know if UNC has a lot to overtake on their defensive side of the ball. So I definitely think Alabama offense, if they get hot early and keep its intensity high, I think they could come on top with that win. So my pick, I'm going to go with Alabama on that one. I want to go for the upset. Clemson and Arizona, I think it should be no question. I think that game isn't even a battle, in my opinion. Clemson did come out with some big wins, huge statement wins, but I think Arizona they just have everything going together for themselves. They know how to play together well, and they just hot. It's a real stop to Arizona throughout the whole year. They play very good basketball as a team, and they know how to get it done. Now, on to the game that's coming on Friday. Duke and Houston. I think that's going to be a great game, big matchup. With Duke, very high team with Jerry McCain currently just dropping 30. I think in order for Houston to win that game for Duke to win that game against Houston, I think he needs to do the same thing. Duke does have some pieces, a lot of good pieces, but I think Jerry McCain is really going to have to take over that game, and he's going to have to show that he's NBA ready. Some people think he needs to stay another year in college. I believe he could come out right now and go straight to the NBA and do some damage. But I think you can't always argue with getting more development. So I think if he does stay another year, development is probably going to be key for him. And another year under his belt will probably flourish him into a better basketball player. But I think he is NBA ready also right now if he decides to come out right now. But and Houston did scare me last game against Texas A&M. I very well believe that if Texas A&M closed out better, they could have won that game. With the way that Houston was playing, very very aggressive, and they tend to get a lot of fouls in that Texas A&M game. But I still think Houston's probably gonna come out on top. Houston is one of the better teams in the NCAA men's Division I, in my opinion, because of just the way they play defense. They're tenacious. They play hard on every loose ball, every drive, and they play like every bucket, every possession is their last possession. So I think Houston's really going to be a tough team to beat, whoever they face up against. So I really got them going far, already farther than they are right now. So I do think that Houston's probably going to come out on top in that game. Now on to NC State and Marquette. It's gonna be sad to say, but I think that's gonna be a tough game. I think NC State's run might end here. I think it might end here, unfortunately, with Marquette. I think Marquette is definitely a tough team, a sleeper team, and a lot of people's brackets to win it all. But yeah, I think the fairy tale ends here. They have a good team, though. They have a lot of good players. But I think Marquette's probably gonna take that game, go on to face Houston. And Purdue and Gonzaga. I really want to see Purdue lose. I'm not very a big fan of Zach Edey. Um, I'm just not a big fan of Zach Edey. I mean, Purdue is still a good team. I'm not taking nothing away from them. They made it far. They know how to play together. But I just don't. I think Gonzaga is probably a better team in my opinion. But I don't know if they have enough. Excuse me. I don't know if they have enough to put in front of Zach Edey and stop him and stop his dominance. So I think Purdue might win that game. Tennessee and Creighton. I think Creighton is probably better together with a lot of different wing players and know how to play together. But Tennessee got that man. Tennessee got that man in Dalton. Dalton Net Connect. I don't even know how to say his last name, but they got that boy. And as long as he's hot, he's one of the toughest people to guard in the NCAA. He can give you 40, he can give you 30. I think Tennessee's gonna take that game. I think Tennessee's for sure gonna take that game. And yeah, it's gonna be they're gonna be hard to stop if he's hot. Now, if they could find a way to stop him early in the game and don't let it get to an arm's reach within the last 2 minutes, 1 minute to where he can take over, then I think Creighton has a very good chance. But if they leave it in arm's reach and allow him to take over the game or even think he has a chance to make a big shot going towards the end, I think he's going to make that. But then they also have a good guard. I'm not too familiar with his name, but he's like a shorter guard. He's about 5'10", 5'11", 5'9", who also is a very good with the ball, very aggressive, and good on defense also. So Tennessee has the pieces to definitely go far. I think if they match up with Purdue, I also have Tennessee taking that game against Purdue. So I have Tennessee coming out of their bracket, out of the Midwest for sure. I just like Tennessee's game in total. I wish it was my team, Kentucky, coming out of that bracket, but what can I say, man? Not everybody can win those games, of course. But um, my fault. Not out of the Midwest itself. My apologies. But yeah, Tennessee, I got them coming out of the Midwest, beating Purdue. Then for Marquette and Houston game, for the two people I have projected winning, I have Houston coming out of there, of course. So I have Houston and Tennessee coming out of that their brackets. Now out of UConn and like I said, I'm gonna go Iowa State to win that game. I'm gonna go Iowa State. A lot of people may not agree with me on this one. They might say UConn. I can very well be wrong. UConn is definitely a great team. I would just like to see Iowa State coming out of there. And I just want to see that Iowa State and Houston rematch. They had a lot of good battles during the year. Um, a lot of good battles during the year. So I think I just want to see Iowa State overcome that, and I just want them I want their offense to be put on broadcast for the whole world. Because right now, I know the hottest thing in NCAA men's right now is Houston defense, how they're playing together, flying to the ball, blitzing the ball, pick and rolls, and a lot of stuff. But a lot of people haven't watched their games against Iowa State. Iowa State has a lot of counters to their defense and has beaten them a couple of times. And all have been great battles. All have been great battles. So nonetheless, either team can win, but my pick is going to be I would want to see Iowa State to win. But of course, if Houston wins, I'm not. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, they're very well deserving. The season that they have had, the way they play offense and defense, and with Jamal Shade, I like his game, love his game. One of the best guards in NCAA men's right now. And coming out of UNC in Arizona, um, a lot of people might disagree with me on this. I believe that Arizona can beat UNC. Yeah, I believe UNC might can lose to Arizona. But like I said, I got Alabama for the upset. So if Alabama do upsets UNC, I got Arizona coming out. So yeah, I got Arizona coming out. If it comes down to Arizona and Tennessee, I have Tennessee taking that game. I like Tennessee offense a lot. I like Tennessee offense a lot and how they play. Now, if it comes down to Iowa State and Houston, I'm gonna give my final pick. My final pick, and I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Iowa State. I'm gonna go Iowa State. Like I said, I just like how they play, and I know the hype team is going to be Houston. I love me a good underdog story, so I'm gonna go Iowa State. Iowa State and Tennessee. Ooh, I'm gonna go with my man. I'm gonna go with my man Dalton. So therefore, I got Tennessee winning. I got Tennessee winning. That's what I like to see, but very well, I believe Iowa State is probably the better meshed together team. Um, and that's if they overcome and beat Houston. Honestly, whoever will come out of that Iowa State and Houston game, if they both could meet back up and win their matchups, I honestly have probably Houston winning that, depending on how they come out. But if Iowa State does watch a lot of that film against Texas A&M, they very well could win that game because Texas A&M put a lot of key pieces out there on how to beat Houston. I don't know if you know what I'm saying. Hopefully, Iowa State or whoever Houston are going to be playing within these next 2 to 3 games are heavily watching that game because Texas A&M, in my opinion, had a lot of opportunities to win that game. I believe they should have won that game, but they just didn't close out the game, and Houston did close out the game the correct way. Now, those are my picks with a lot of people I was talking to, like I said, as far as coaches, players. The most voted team that they had was UConn. UConn has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 picks. A lot of people said they had 10 people say they have UConn winning the whole thing, going back to back. Which I mean, they're back. They won last year, so a lot of people should have them going back to back. Next, I believe is Houston with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Houston has 5 picks. 5 people say Houston's going to win it. They almost have, in my opinion, the best defense in NCAA basketball. They have a great guard, and they just know the flow of the game. They're all on the same page on almost every possession. There's never a possession, in my opinion, where I think I've seen them not on the same page. So they all on the same page, know what they're doing. Next is UNC with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 picks. Oh, so UNC and UNC is right behind Houston with picks on who people believe UNC is going to win. Then after that, it goes Marquette with 3, Iowa State and Illinois tied with 2, Tennessee with 1. What shocked me the most is that out of almost everybody I've talked to, nobody really had Arizona winning anything. Not Arizona didn't receive one vote from anybody to say they probably could win it. Which I mean, they have a good chance to win it as well as the other teams do. It's just I think Arizona they just don't probably have enough as far as these other teams to probably win the whole thing. But again, it is March. Anything can happen during March, as we can see. Any team could beat any team on any given night. You want it done. Those are my picks, and those are picks from people I've talked to. Um, Now going to the end of the episode, I want to talk about the Naismith Player of the Year. I believe that, in my opinion, I would love to see Dalton Net get it, or Connect, however you say his name. I ain't really, what I'm saying, I don't really know his last name, or RJ Davis. But the other two candidates are, of course, what I'm saying, you got to put in a lot of hard work, a lot of hard hours, and display a lot of talent on the floor in order to even get a nomination. The other two players are Zach Edey and I believe Jamal Shead out of Houston. My two picks, like I said, are RJ Davis and Duncan Connect. I believe that Jamal, I don't believe he's not going to get the award. If he does get it, congrats to him. I'm not surprised if he don't get it, but I believe he's probably not going to get it because of his stats may not back it up or may not be eye appealing to a lot of people or to the voters per se, as far as some other people. But on the floor, I think he probably gives the most out of those 4 players on the floor. He plays both sides of the floor. He's a floor general. He could score. He can almost do everything you would want out of a guard, a combo, or even as a pure point guard. He play makes. He does almost everything. It's like a coach's dream to have him as your point guard. So I would love to see him get it, but I just don't believe he has the stats to get it. There's just not enough eye appealing stats. But if you watch his games, him on film, him on the floor in general, I think he's very well should get it. But like I said, his stats just doesn't match up with the film, so he probably won't get it in my opinion. Zach Edey, I believe he got it last year. I could be wrong. But he's another good player. Definitely, I think he's averaging a double double. I think it's like 20 and 10ish, somewhere around there. Um, and led his team to a lot of wins. So I believe he very well has probably. a high chance to get it, but I would like to see them give it to somebody else, of course, like Dalton, who came by storm this year as a transfer out of Tennessee's averaging like 21, I want to say, between 21 and 22 points a game, shooting it very well from the floor, a good percentage. And he has multiple, I think he has like 2 38, 39 point games. Just shows up almost every night, shoots the ball well. But I feel like a knock that some voters or some watchers, fans may have against him is that he shoots the ball a lot. He shoots the ball almost, I think, almost 200 times more than anybody on his team, if I can remember the exact number was. So that's one thing they may not say, the one knock they may have against him, but he shows up almost every game, shoots it at a high percentage, just a very good scorer of the basketball. I think he's going to be a great pick going into the NBA on whatever team gets him. He's going to be immediate impact, in my opinion. Should be an immediate impact, the way he can shoot the ball at high level, the way he can create his shot. He'll need a lot of dribbles, but if you need him to, he has a 1-2 dribble back. He can get into it and create a shot. It's great going downhill, and he has a good frame also. Now, RJ Davis is another player who's averaging, I believe, around like 21, 22 points a game, a good floor general, create a shot, a good guard. He's just another good candidate, in my opinion. So, like I said, I would like to see Duncan Net or Net, I say his name, or RJ Davis win it, of course. And if they could go out there, if either one of those teams go out there and win the NCAA tournament, that's going to be another plus for them and their team. And yeah, those are my picks. Those are picks from the people I've talked to. Like I said, the number one voted team was UConn. My fan pick would be Tennessee. I would love to see Tennessee with it. I would love to see Dalton go out there and score a lot and show his skill set, his game. My coach's pick or ball knowledge pick would probably be Houston to Iowa State. Definitely Houston to Iowa State. I'm kind of in between on which one, but definitely Houston to Iowa State if they make it out of their brackets for sure. Naismith Player of the Year is Dalton or RJ. Let me know who you guys have winning Naismith Player of the Year between Zach Edey, RJ Davis, Dalton Gannett, Jamal Shade, and let me know who you guys have winning the whole NCAA tournament or the matchups, of course. Like I said, UConn, San Diego State, Illinois, Iowa State, UNC, Alabama, Clemson, Arizona, Duke, Houston, NC State, Marquette, Purdue, Gonzaga, Creighton, Tennessee. And yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. This is Dietrich, your host. It's Notballtalk. Signing off. See you guys next episode.
He passed me the ball. He never passed me the ball.